Hey everybody, it's Mike here from The Art of Guitar, here with a video about a song that as far back as I can remember, I've always liked. It's Barracuda by Heart. Even when I was a little kid and my parents would play it on the radio, or it would just happen to be on the radio, I always loved that opening riff, and I think that's what most people think of when they think of the song Barracuda, just that killer intro. Right? And even as I got older and I started listening to Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Metallica, all that kind of stuff, I would have to say that Barracuda still held its own against all of those heavy giants as being one of the most powerful and heavy riffs of all time. So today I wanted to make a video about the 12 things in Barracuda when it comes to guitar that I found to be a lot trickier than I first thought. I actually had the honor of talking to the original Heart guitarist, Roger Fisher, and I made a video of it. I'll put the link underneath the video. And he taught me a lot of these little details that I didn't know about before, so I'll be including those today too. So the first thing we'll talk about is the legendary opening riff itself. What makes it tricky for me is, first of all, playing it at the correct tempo. It's such a cool riff, I always want to kind of spaz out and speed it up. This is what would feel natural for me to play. You know, I grew up listening to bands like Iron Maiden, so I kind of have that more faster tempo in my blood, but if you listen to the actual recording, it's a lot slower than you might think. So before we play it live nowadays, now I'm in a Heart tribute band, we have to, do it justice. I literally have to talk myself down and be like, okay, slow down, settle down, don't go too fast. The intro is also tricky because I always want to over palm mute it. Growing up playing Metallica, I always want to give it a real choked sound, but it doesn't sound right. Listen. I heard a guy play it like that before, and it just kind of makes it feel stiff. So you really have to loosen up that palm muting to make it sound more like the album. The second reason Barracuda is trickier than I thought is the counting of the verse. That's because there's actually a 5/4 measure in the verse. Everyone seems to have their little trick way of counting it live so they don't mess it up. I know I have mine, but it's actually a 5/4 measure in there. So first there's a 4/4, then a 5/4. So it's like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it goes back to normal. My secret is as soon as I hit that C power chord, I just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then I'm usually okay. But it still feels weird to wait that extra beat. This next thing is in a couple of parts of the song. You have to do this real strange, shifty slide. So slow. That might not seem tough, but when you're going full speed and you have to change strings and do a power chord and do this like zigzagging kind of thing, it's almost like a Z shape, it's more difficult than you might think. So I came up with sort of a weird modified version of it. I go index finger, ring finger, pinky, and when I slide up, I bar across and just lift up my ring finger, and I'm able to get kind of the same effect without having to jump to the next set of strings. Watch. I only had to play it about 100 times to figure that out. It's not what Roger Fisher does, by the way. He does the jump, so he does not take the easy way out like I do. Here's a tip that Roger Fisher gave me over our video lesson that we did a while ago. It's something I never knew they did. So this part, I would go like this. It sounds good, it's actually on the album, but what Roger does is a lot more difficult. That might not look difficult, but once again, at full speed, it's tough. Plus, you have to do this gigantic stretch across the 3rd, 5th, and 7th frets. You have to bar across, too. And then you have to jump up to the B and back to the A in record time. So that could be kind of difficult. Let me try it. And I'm sitting and playing. When you stand up and your guitar's lower and you have to do that, it's a lot more difficult. After the first chorus section, there's this cool natural harmonic walk down. And if you're kind of jazzed up, maybe you had a few drinks or something live, it's really hard to pinpoint exactly where you have to hit these harmonics. It's almost like a difficult Rush type riff. What can happen if you're not exactly right during this part is you could accidentally just kill a note by not hitting it correctly. That's happened to me many times. It sounds like you're totally screwing up on Guitar Hero when you do that. The next component of the song that makes it difficult is every time there's like a dive bomb type thing, it changes, and there are actually two guitars in the recording, if not more, doing something different. So you have to sort of create this composite version of it. And Roger showed me this really cool thing that he does during this part. So instead of just hitting the strings like that, which sounds great, he does like a multi-string pinch harmonic. And I tried to practice this and I never quite got it right. But if you watch him, he'll turn his thumb and he'll do this and scrape across. That is wild. I still don't have it down, but I'm working on it. And then there's other times where he goes to the 5th fret. And even a 7th fret when everything stops towards the end. So it changes every single time. There's a part in the bridge that always confused me, and the way he plays it is very staccato, very choppy. The only way I could play that staccato enough is if I do those upstrokes. During the pre-solo and also at the end, they kick into this 7/4 measure, which sounds like this. So once again, odd time signatures that are making things a little bit more difficult than I thought they were going to be. There are a few spots in the solo that I didn't play right, and he showed me that there's some upstrokes, real strong attacks going on in some of the parts that I wasn't doing. So for example, so did you notice those reverse rakes? Wasn't doing that before. I was just going, which sounds kind of sterile now compared to the real version. And then the part that confuses almost everybody who plays it. Roger kind of played it for me and I had to really watch what he was doing. But at the end of the solo part, I always thought it was a tap. I always thought it was... But for real, it goes like this. The end is just this huge symphony of guitar parts, and I had to kind of put the two together into one, like a composite once again. I do have another guitar player in the band that helps out, but during this part, I kind of cover all the parts, which goes like this. Once again, having to really tiptoe around those natural harmonics to make sure that they come out clearly can be very difficult, especially because you feel the song ramping up to the end and everybody's excited. The crowd's usually having a good time. And I don't know, I get a little overexcited sometimes during that part. It's really hard to control myself like before with those natural harmonics. Now at the end, we still don't do this in the tribute band that I'm in. It's kind of tricky, but it's very essential if you want to play it exactly like the album. We'll probably end up doing this someday, but we learned it wrong and we just kind of keep doing that. It's sort of a habit thing now. But one of the guitars is supposed to go like this. Isn't that strange? In my head, I hear it this way. Right? But it's actually another guitar doing the up hits like this. While Roger's guitar is going. It feels so cool when you do it correctly and you're going back and forth. It's almost like you're echoing off of each other. And if that wasn't hard enough, you have to do 5 of them at the end. It could have just been 4, but I bet you somebody in the band's like, why not just do 5? Let's just mess everybody up, especially tribute bands in the future. So you have to do 5. So it always feels off to me. Like, so it's actually, I'll play it the way we play it. See, that feels right, but you have to do one more. Then hopefully the crowd goes crazy. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching. That was a lot of fun talking about the 12 things that actually make Barracuda tricky, for me at least. And once again, thank you to Roger Fisher for showing me some of those details. I'm still working on a lot of them, but having a lot of fun doing it. Okay, everyone, we'll catch you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.